Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to review the Btwin Hoprider 500. I'm going to say 3 good points and 3 not so good points about the bike, and then take a close look at the price and see if there's a better deal out there on the market for maybe another type of bike. Straight away, the price is €495 or £499. That seems like a lot. It's more expensive than usual for Decathlon town bikes, I would say. Did a little survey before this video. Most people expect to pay around 300 to 350 euros. That's what I was expecting. I was shocked to see it at just touching 500. I don't know if that's because of the raw materials, energy costs, supply chain issues. So there's more demand than there is supply, or maybe people just want to bike more in the post-COVID landscape. They don't want to take public transport. But currently it's just under 500 euros or pounds. What you get for the money is 24 gears, aluminium frame, front suspension, lots of accessories. So 3 good points. First of all, it looks really nice. This green and brown is very eye-catching. People remark it looks expensive. This style, I'd call it English country gentleman style. He probably plays golf. He probably drives a Jaguar, lives in the kind of expensive village somewhere. So it does look expensive. It does catch people's eye in comparison to the normal black and blue and grey bikes. This one, at least it's original, so it's a talking point. That's positive point 1. Number 2, the ride is very smooth. It has 24 gears that work really well. It's indexed on the shifter. So it does feel okay. It feels smooth, calm to ride, and 24 gears is helpful. I don't know if you'd ever need that in a village or a town, but you've got them, so it might make you happy. It's marketed as a long town ride bike, more than 10 kilometers. That's what the Decathlon explanation says. I don't really know what that means, a long town ride, more than 10k. Anyway, the third positive point is these halogen lights are super bright. Not normally, but often with some bikes, when they're dynamo powered, the lights, it's like holding a candle in the wind. You can hardly see anything. With these, just notice, as soon as you spin the front wheel, both of them get a boost of power and they're super bright. That's the 3 positive. Okay, 3 negative. Yeah, brown and green looks nice, but it gets dirty very, very quickly. Grubby is the word. You get this kind of just dirt that you can't get off the green frame. It looks grubby. With black bikes, you can spray paint it with black spray paint, and when it dries, it just looks new. The one I use is lac spray paint. It just gives this kind of black glow, covering all the dirt and also any scratches. Now, if you've got a green bike or a blue bike, it's a real nightmare to try and get the right spray paint shade to cover any scratches. So that was going to hurt your resale value, or it might just drive you nuts that the bike starts to look grubby. That's the frame. Again, the brown seat is not leather, it's like pleather or synthetic material. Once that brown seat gets dirty, you cannot easily get the dirt out. Trust me, I've tried. There's these deep clean products you can use for shoes. They didn't work. You got restorative products for shoes, again, didn't work. What I end up doing is spray painting it. So this one was brown. You can maybe see just around the edges. This is one of these pleather brown seats, and I just couldn't get it to look nice. It looked grubby all the time. In the end, I just spray painted it. So what would be better is to actually use a real leather seat. And here we've got the Brooks model. Now these are around 120 euros, maybe even slightly more now, but they look the business and they mold to your bum, basically, to your pelvic bone or whatever. So this is what you really want on a bike like this if you want to stand out. But again, it costs 120, but the leather looks quality for long. It looks even nicer the longer you use it. It has this worn look. So negative thing 1, it gets grubby. Negative thing 2, the suspension, it doesn't have a dial to show like how you can increase the tension, how you can make it more rigid. It's like it's one size fits all, or one strength fits all suspension. On other Btwin bikes like the Hoprider 520, it's got a dial with the number of kilograms on based on your weight. So you move the dial to the right, and you see the kilograms go up for like a heavier person. With this, it's kind of one size fits all. You're never really sure with those knobs on the top if you're supposed to get a pair of pliers, which I do sometimes to try and make it stronger. But it's odd for a bike of 500 euros that the suspension isn't great. It's really rigid when you're riding, but if you give it a huge push, it goes all the way down. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. It's not really consistent, the suspension. It's like too rigid all the time, and then it just jumps down if you kind of crash or go over a big bump. It's not great. The third point, maybe I'm being a bit pernickety here, but you see I've fitted a lock over the back wheel. I think that should have come as standard on a €500 bike. They're trying to make it more luxury compared to the usual model. They wouldn't cost much for Decathlon to fit. They'd probably cost them just a couple of euros in production. You can buy them for between 25 to about 50 euros by Abus and then some other generic brands. This is a cheap one. I've put it on the back. The holes are there to fit it. I just think if you're marketing a total bike package, as this is a town bike for your long journeys, and it's got the lights and the mud guards and the kickstand, put the lock in there as well for 500. I shouldn't have to add that myself in order to resell it. So that's the three not so good points. Right, the point about pricing. If I was thinking about doing a commute or long rides, I would think of a Farad manufacture bike. Now that's closer to 1,000. Or I'd think of an Orbea. You see my other video, the Vector, for example. Again, 800 to 1,000. But the point is, if it was 6 to 9 months old or a year old, you could probably still get 80% of the money back. So if you paid 1,000, I reckon you could get 700 to 800 if it was in really good condition after a year. With this one, it's on for 500, but trying to sell it secondhand, you're going to get 200. So either way, you've lost 300 euros. But wouldn't you rather have a nicer bike from the beginning and lose 300 and then get your money back than have this one and still lose 300? It's just one way of thinking about it. So personally, I wouldn't buy this one new. I'd try and get it secondhand for about 200 to 250. Overall, I give it a 6 out of 10. Any questions, put them in the comments below. Subscribe for my next review coming up on electric foldable bikes. Thanks.